आज क्या करना है? Sermon at Banaras and 4 and अच्छा and from next week we will give 2 also. Today are because today are we finishing with the ICSE class, so we can give 2 hours for you.
मतलब 5 से 7
वन आप कुछ मत कर 4 में और ज़्यादा टाइम एक्सटेंड होगा I heard 4 इसीलिए तुम्हें किया ना it's better if you 4 hours will be too much इतना भी नहीं कि हम नहीं कर दिया so 2 hours I think we can maybe once or twice we will finish
मंडे को इंग्लिश का मंडे को इंग्लिश का पेपर है तो हम तो नहीं है रखो घरे आएंगे 4 घंटे का
लोग नहीं आओगे
नहीं आएंगे हम कुछ भी बोलते हैं 4 घंटे का
Okay, chalo now what do you all want to do? Sermon at Banaras?
नहीं
कुछ भी बोली
हाँ बोली करते हैं बोली नाम से कोई इंटरेस्टिंग
ये लोग बोली बोल रहे थे
बोली एग्जाम में आ रहा है अब डाल दिया है
कभी के एग्जाम में
बस अभी 7 तारीख को इंग्लिश बस बीच में बारिश की छुट्टी ना हो
तो yesterday you didn't get ना
अरे हमारे वैसे भी एग्जाम कल तो छुट्टी था हम लोग को एग्जाम दिया था भाई
तुम्हारा
छुट्टी है हमारा एग्जाम हमें तो पता नहीं हमारा एग्जाम का छुट्टी है
चलो we do the chapter then इसके बाद if there's time I'll show you a video
पहले वीडियो दिखाओ
पहले दिखाओ और ये बचेगा फिर वो आधा दिन नेक्स्ट वीक okay so let's start You're feeling hot or what?
Yes.
Turn the fan off now.
इस फैन से नहीं एसी को बंद कर दो पागल है क्या
बंद नहीं Okay, so let's start Holi. From a very childhood, Holi was neglected at home. Why did her teacher take special interest in her? Did Holi measure up to her teacher's expectations? Her name was Sulekha, but since her childhood, चलो बुक वापस है कि तुम लोग दोनों का फूड इन ब्रिंग हर बार नहीं लाता है क्या करूं So her name was Sulekha, but since her childhood, everyone had been calling her Holi, the simpleton. So what was she called? Holi, simpleton. Holi means Holi Bali, simple. So she was called Holi. She was the 4th daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. Nambardar is a revenue officer. So her father was a revenue officer. When she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot on her head and perhaps it had damaged some part of her brain. So what had happened when she was 10 months old? She had fallen off the cot and it had hit her head. So that had affected her brain. That was why she remained a backward child. Backward means her brain didn't develop properly and came to be known as Holy, the simpleton. At birth, the child was very fair and pretty. But when she was 2 years old, she had an attack of smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body was permanently disfigured by deep black pock marks. So, at what age?
2 years.
2 years, she got smallpox, and that left severe marks on her skin. Little Sulekha could not speak till she was 5. And when at last she learned to speak, she stammered. The other children often made fun of her and mimicked her. Mimicked is they tried to copy her in order to tease her. As a result, she talked very little. Ramlal had 7 children. So Ramlal was her father. They had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. And the youngest of them was
Holy.
It was a prosperous farmer's household, and there was plenty to eat and drink. All the children except Boli were healthy and strong. Boli was the only so-called problematic one. The sons had been sent to the city to study in schools and later in colleges. Right? During those days, now this was written sometime before in the 1900s. Okay, this is written by K. Abbas. He was born in 1914 and died in 1987. So this was sometime before that, right? The author has written it before that. So in the earlier times, how it was that only the boys used to be educated. And if a girl has been educated, that used to be avoided because if the girl is more educated than the boy, she'll not find a match. Boys didn't want to marry a girl who was more educated than them. That mindset still exists even now, it hurts their ego. But it was more at that time. All the children except Boli were healthier, colleges. Of the daughters, Radha, the eldest, had already been married. The second daughter, Mangla's marriage, had also been settled. Settled means fixed. And when that was done, Raghulan would think of the third, Champa. So the eldest was Radha, who was married. The next was Mangla, whose marriage had been fixed. And afterwards, he would then plan to marry Champa. They were good-looking, healthy girls, and it was not difficult to find bridegrooms for them. But Ramlal was worried about Holi. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. Holi was 7 years old when Mangla was married. The same year, a primary school for girls was opened in their village. Okay, a primary school for girls. The Tehsildar Sahab came to perform its opening ceremony. Okay, Tehsildar is the head of that district. So he came, he is a senior official, and he came to perform the opening ceremony of that girls' school. He said to Ramlal, as a revenue official, you are the representative of the government in the village, and so you must set an example to the villagers. You must send your daughters to school. It's only after you send that people will take you as an example and they'll send their own girls also. That night, when Ramlal consulted his wife, she cried. Are you crazy? Your cried doesn't mean Rona. Cried means she screamed out. Are you crazy? If girls go to school, who will marry them? But Ramlal had not the courage to disobey the tehsildar. At last his wife said, I will tell you what to do. Send Boli to school. As it is, there is little chance of her getting married with her ugly face and lack of sense. Let the teachers at school worry about her. Okay, so they feel that anyway she has no future ahead, she is good for nothing. So let her go to school. The next day, Ramlal caught Boli by the hand and said, Come with me, I will take you to school. Boli was frightened. She did not know what a school was like. She remembered how a few days ago their own cow Lakshmi had been turned out of the house and sold. So what does she feel? She thinks he is going to take, yes, he is going to throw me out and sell me off somewhere and get rid of me. Because she was always made to feel unwanted in the house. So she felt that just like the old cow, Lakshmi, she is also going to be expelled from the house. No, 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 no. She shouted in terror and pulled her hand away from her father's grip. What's the matter with you, you fool? Shouted Ramlal. I'm only taking you to school. Then he told his wife, let her wear some decent clothes today. Or else, what will the teachers and the other schoolgirls think of us when they see her? So this means that otherwise she was not even given good clothes to wear. New clothes had never been made for Holi. The old dresses of her sisters were passed on to her, right? Because she was the youngest. So she received all those passed on worn dresses. No one cared to mend or wash her clothes. But today, she was lucky to receive a clean dress which had shrunk after so many washings and no longer fitted Champa. Who was Champa? Yes, the third one. The one who was just one level elder to her. She was even bathed and oil was scrubbed into her dry and matted hair. Only then did she begin to believe that she was being taken to a place better than her home. Right? Because she was dressed well, her hair was oiled well, so she felt, okay, they seem to be taking me to a better place. When they reached school, the children were already in their classrooms. Ramlal handed over his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about her with fear-laden eyes. Looked about her means she was looking all around her because she was in a new place and left alone. So she was very fearful. She didn't know what was going to happen. There were several rooms, and in each room, girls like her squatted on mats. Squatted is to sit on the floor with legs crossed.
स्केल दे दिया था
Squatted on mats, reading from books or writing on slates. So it was not a classroom right like this with desks. It was like how it is in the villages where they sit on the floor, they write on slates and all that. And they had books also to read. His headmistress asked Polly to sit down in a corner in one of the classrooms. Molly did not know what exactly a school was like and what happened there. But she was glad to find so many girls, almost of her own age, present there. She hoped that one of these girls might become her friend. The lady teacher who was in the class was saying something to the girls, but Molly could understand nothing. She looked at the pictures on the wall. The colors fascinated her. A horse, the horse was brown, just like the horse on which the Tehsildar had come to visit their village. The goat was black, like the goat of their neighbor. The parrot was green, just like the parrot she had seen in the mango orchard. The cow was just like their Lakshmi. So what does this tell? That she's somewhat able to connect to those pictures. Okay, she's able to relate to them. And suddenly Bholi noticed that the teacher was standing by her side, smiling at her. What's your name, little one? Bo. She could stammer no further than that. So she was stammering, and on top of it, she was nervous. Then she began to cry. So why she began to cry? Because of embarrassment, right? She was not able to utter her name. Then she began to cry, and tears flowed from her eyes in a helpless flood. She kept her head down as she sat in her corner, not daring to look up at the girls who she knew were still laughing at her, because she had had such experiences in the past. No? At home also, when she talked to her friends, they used to start laughing at her and mock at her. So obviously she is going to be very conscious of herself now. When the school bell rang, all the girls hurried out of the classroom. But Boli dared not to leave her corner. Her head still lowered, she kept on sobbing. So what happened after the school bell rang and class was over? Everyone else went out. All the children, girls, all the girls ran out. But she was still there. Remember that movie, that Tare Zameen Par? उसमें भी the similar thing है. See, he's coming to this new school, and then yes, boarding school, and when school leaves, he's still in the classroom, and then Amir Khan comes and tries to console him. Right? So somewhat similar situation here. The teacher's voice was so soft and soothing. In all her life, she had never been called like that. It touched her heart. Right? Because her parents were very harsh with her. So she liked this caring attitude. Get up, said the teacher. It was not a command, but just a friendly suggestion. Bully got up. Now, tell me your name. Sweat broke out over her whole body. Would her stammering tongue again disgrace her? For the sake of this kind woman, however, she decided to make an effort. She had such a soothing voice. She would not laugh at her. She began to stammer. Well done, the teacher encouraged her. Come on now, the full name? Goli. At last, she was able to say it and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement. Well done. The teacher patted her affectionately and said, put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like everyone else. So what did she suggest? Get the fear out of your heart if you want to stop stammering. Boli looked up as if to ask, really? She couldn't believe that this can stop. Yes, it will be very easy. You just come to school every day. Will you come? Book क्यों नहीं देख रहा है? Look into the textbook. नीचे क्या देख रहा है? कुछ लिख रखा है क्या? हाँ? बैग ले रखे हैं बनी में. Textbook में देखो ना तुम लोग. So, will you come? Boli nodded. No, say it aloud. Yes. Again she stammered, but then she made her speak. And Boli herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now, take this book. The book was full of nice pictures, and the pictures were in color: dog, cat, goat, horse, parrot, tiger, and a cow just like Lakshmi. And with every picture was a word in big black letters. So which book was this? Yes, the picture book where you have the name written, you have the alphabet and the picture, those glossy, colorful pictures. In 1 month, you will be able to read this book. Then I will give you a bigger book, then a still bigger one. In time, you will be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect, and you will be able to speak without the slightest stammer. Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. Bodhi felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temple were ringing and the trees in front of the schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. Her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. Right? So the ringing of bells and the tree covered with flowers, what does that signify? Her happiness. Okay? Her happiness and her hope. Freedom nahi. It gave her some hope that okay, at least something can happen about my life. What did we do? See the last. You can stand there only and put it off, na? Put it off. वो लोग बोल रहे हैं ना off करो. I thought you all are not willing to do it. That's why. So her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. So that hope signifies the ringing of the bells and the flowers. Thus the years passed. The village became a small town. Okay, now some years have gone by. Okay, this is now in the future, right? So years have gone by, and this village has developed. It's turned into a small town. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a tin shed, a cotton ginning mill. Ginning is the cotton weaving mill. So there are small factories that are being set up. The mail train began to stop at their railway station. Stopping at a railway station means their station was now important. That's why it used to halt there. One night after dinner, क्या चल रहा है दोनों का डिस्कशन? दूर आके बैठ, दूर, तू इधर कोने में आ. Read where I stood.
One night after dinner, Ramlal said,
One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, I just wanted to check. क्या चल रहा है? इसको शायद नहीं होता. गलती से तेरे को पूछ लिया. क्या पता? चल देखती हूँ अभी बीच में पूछूंगा. Yes, certainly, his wife said. Boli will be lucky to get such a well. I missed her. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, then, shall I accept Vishambar's proposal? So this Vishambar is a person who is a prospective husband of Boli. Yes, certainly, his wife said. Boli will be lucky to get such a well-to-do bridegroom. A big shop, a house of his own, and I heard several thousand in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry. So what are the positive things that she saw? The shop, house, money in the bank, so he is well off, and no dowry to give. That's right. But he is not so young, you know. almost the same age as I am. And he also limps. हाँ, उसके पापा के age का है. And he also limps. Limps means लंगड़ा के चलता है. Moreover, बोली के लिए कुछ बोलेगा तो घर के क्लास में इसको ही बोल रही हूँ.
मैं क्या बोला?
You said बोली जैसी. बोला ना उसने?
किसको बोला मैं बोली जैसे?
He said ना बोली जैसा ही है.
नहीं बोली जैसी है वैसी रहेगी.
मैं वैसे बोली जैसी है वैसी है.
कमेंट बोली का कमेंट मत कर तू. बोली का कुछ भी कमेंट करेगा you will be thrown out. हाँ.
किसी में भी नहीं बोली में मत.
Yes.
पापा की तरफ से मोटिवेट करना.
So almost the same age as I am, and he also limps. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up, which means he is already married once. This is his second marriage. Those girls are grown up, so probably his daughters will be of Bholi's age, and he is trying to get married to Bholi. He is not Bhola. Now what does the wife say? See. So what does it matter? His wife replied, 45 or 50, it is no great age for a man. 45, 50 years, चलेगा उसमें क्या हुआ? Not 5-6, he was younger. वो कुछ अपने टीन्स में रही होगी उस वक्त, but still, हाँ, so 45 or 50, it is no great age for a man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pockmarks and her lack of sense. If we don't accept this proposal, she may remain unmarried all her life. They feel what? इससे अच्छा दूसरा मिलेगा नहीं. He is not aware of those marks on her face and her lack of sense. तो करने दो. Then, yes, but I wonder what Bholi will say. What will that witless one say? She is like a dumb cow. Maybe you're right, muttered Ramla. Now Bholi was listening to all this. In the other corner of the courtyard, Bholi lay awake on her cot, listening to her parents' whispered conversation. Okay, how are you going to feel when you hear how she must have felt when she heard all this? That they're just getting her. हाँ?
बोली के बारे में कुछ नहीं बोला. उसके बाद
कुछ भी फालतू का भी बोल रहे हो ना तुम लोग.
अरे आपको कैसे पता फालतू का?
बोला उसने, मैंने सुना वो.
क्या बोला?
उसने बोला पापा के दोस्त के साथ.
क्या?
ना? I know. पापा के दोस्त के साथ शादी करा है. तो फालतू का मत बोलो, मेरे को समझ रहा है. क्या करे? चुप बैठो. Okay. So Vishambar Nath was a well-to-do grocer. Grocer is a person who runs a kirane ka shop. Grocery store. Not sabji. Kirane ka store. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. Okay. Now imagine a traditional movie में जो दिखाते हैं weddings, वो पहले band रहता है, वो घोड़े पे आता है and all that kind of person. Yeah, this person, no, this author, what is his name? K. Abbas. He's written movies also in Hindi. अब वो names online search करा. Old ones. Now I don't know if he's alive. He's not alive anymore, na? So old movies. So Vishambar Nath was a well-to-do grocer. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. A brass band was playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the procession, with the bridegroom riding a decorated horse. Ramlal was overjoyed to see such pomp and splendor. Pomp and splendor means so much band, baja and all those things. He had never dreamt that his fourth daughter would have such a grand wedding. Boli's elder sister, who had come for the occasion, elder sisters who had come for the occasion were envious of her luck. So they were kind of jealous of her that, oh, she's found such a nice groom. I can't say boy, so groom. Then the auspicious moment came. The priest said, bring the bride. So which auspicious moment of taking the feras? Boli, clad in a red silken bridal dress, was led to the bride's place near the sacred fire. Garland the bride, one of his friends prompted Vishambarna. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigolds. A woman slipped back the silken veil from the bride's face. Veil is the gungat. So he had to make her wear that garland. So one lady, she removed that veil from her face. Vishambar took a quick glance. The garland remained poised in his hand. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. So what did he do? He saw his face, her face, and he did not wear the garland. He just held it like this. So in the meantime, what did Bholi do? She again covered her face. इसमें तेरे को हंसने को क्या लगा? Have you seen her? Said Bishambar to the friend next to him. She has pockmarks on her face, right? In the beginning, we did that he was from another village and he didn't know about her pockmarks. So what? You are not young either. Maybe. But if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. So you saw how sincere he was. Without that, he was marrying her without dowry. So now why is he asking for money? Chairani. Okay, because the bride has some weakness in her, so I want money now. Now, isn't that greedy? Right? So he was like that and cowardly. So Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Vishambar's feet. Right? So in Hindi movies, you must have seen this the pagdi that they wear is a symbol of respect. So he puts that at the feet of the bridegroom. Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees. It's not that he had a lot of money also. So he says, take 2,000. No, 5,000 or we go back. Keep your daughter. Okay, now a marriage breaking also in those times was a big thing. That, oh, they didn't get married and then they find it even more difficult to get boys. So nobody will want to break the marriage. So he says, otherwise keep your daughter. Be a little considerate, please. If you go back, I can never show my face in the village. Then out with 5,000. Tears streaming down his face, Ramlal went in, opened the safe and counted out the notes. He placed the bundle at the bridegroom's feet. Now, on Vishambar's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. Triumphant means victory wala smile, that I have won. He got his 5,000. No? He had gambled and won. Gambled why? He took a chance, right? And he got the money also. Give me the garland, he announced. Once again, the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes were not downcast. Not downcast means she was not looking down, right? She was looking up, looking straight at her prospective husband. Prospective is to be husband. And in her eyes, there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contempt. Vishambar raised the garland. Okay. So now there was a transformation in Boli. Fine. Vishambar raised the garland to place it round the bride's neck. But before he could do so, Boli struck his hand. Boli's hand struck out like a streak of lightning. So what did he do? He wore the garland, but she struck her hand out and the garland was flung into the fire. She didn't accept the garland, she threw it. See in this picture, you can see that garland is burning down in the fire. So, flung into the fire. She got up and threw away the veil. Pitaji, said Bholi in a clear, loud voice, and her father, mother, sisters, brothers, relations, and neighbors were startled to hear her speak without even the slightest stammer. You saw here there's no stammering shown, so she didn't stammer at this point. What does this show? कैसे ठीक हुई? Confidence के साथ. Now this shows that her confidence had come back. Pitaji, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. The guests began to whisper, so shameless, so ugly and so shameless. Right? People were against it. They felt that what she is doing is wrong. Usko chupchap kar lena chahiye. Boli, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. You want to disgrace your family? Have some regard for her izzat. For the sake of your izzat, said Boli, I was willing to marry this lame old man. But I will not have such a mean, greedy and contemptible coward as my husband. Contemptible is hateful, right? Because of what he did at the last minute that give me money or else I will not marry her. I won't. What a shameless girl. We all thought she was a harmless dumb cow. Boni turned violently on the old woman. Yes, auntie, you are right. You all thought I was a dumb driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over to this heartless creature. But now the dumb cow, the stammering fool, is speaking. Do you want to hear more? Vishambarnath, the grocer, started to go back with his party. The confused bandsman thought this was the end of the ceremony and struck up a closing song. What closing song? Vidai ka song they started playing as if it's all finished now. They had to do their duty, no? Ramlal stood rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and shame. He was still feeling bad for what his daughter had done. The flames of the sacred fire slowly died down. Everyone was gone. Sab kuch khatam ho gaya. No marriage. All the guests are out. Ramlal turned to Bholi and said, but what about you? No one will ever marry you now. What shall we do with you? And Sulekha said in a voice. You see the difference now? In the last para, they are not calling her Bholi. They are referring to her as Sulekha because she is not that dumb cow any longer. And Sulekha said in a voice that was calm and steady, don't you worry, Pitaji. In your old age, I will serve you and mother, and I will teach in the same school where I learned so much. Isn't that right, man? So that teacher who was there at that time was present even now. The teacher had all along stood in a corner watching the drama. Yes, Bori, of course, she replied. And her smiling eyes was, and in her smiling eyes was the light of deep satisfaction that an artist feels when contemplating the completion of a masterpiece. Means who was the artist here?
Teacher.
The teacher. What was the masterpiece? Bori's translation. Sleep. Nice, no?
Video.
Video? How much time do you need?
Please. 15 मिनट में चलेगा
ऐसा बेकार है ना ये।
चलेगा।
चलेगा। लेके आ मम्मी को। नेक्स्ट वीक चलेगा बोलो अभी। चलेगा। चलेगा। लेके आ मम्मी को।
मेरे को बोल रहे
हाँ
क्या?
मम्मी को लेके आ दिया।
तू क्या बोल रहे?
तू बस चलेगा बोल दे, क्या मैं बोला वो मत सोच।
काय को?
बोल दे
पता ही नहीं क्या बोल रहा है।
नहीं बोलिए।
See, he knows
नहीं
that.
दिया।
हाँ।
नहीं दिया। तो बोला नहीं 22 तारीख रात को
हाँ जैसे भी हुआ।
होली क्वेश्चन आंसर्स करते हैं।
वीडियो में समझ में आता है।
यूट्यूब पर आएगा।
See,
सी ना सबसे पहले तो क्वेश्चन आंसर्स करें।
ऐसा नहीं होता यूट्यूब से
ऐसा होता है।
वीडियोस पे
वो मेरे को नहीं समझता है ना।
सबसे पहले देखो समझता है ना समझा सबसे पहले
ये मेरे को ये दिखता है।
ये क्या है? ये क्या बात है?
आई मराठी मराठी।
आई अच्छा पहला वाला
हिंदी में हो।
हाँ तो नीचे अच्छा है ये इंग्लिश वाला ये लो इंग्लिश अरे दिख रहा है ना 19 मिनट वाला सेकंड हाँ मस्त है यार नहीं
इंग्लिश लिखा हुआ है। एक बार हिंदी में भी देख लेते। इंग्लिश में सुन लिया अभी हिंदी में।
हाँ वही फर्स्ट वाले वही चलो 36 मिनट अरे यूट्यूब पे जाओ ना यार नीचे नीचे आ ये बात लगा दो अरे हाँ मैम लगा दो मैडम आई
क्या हुई है?
हटा दे बकबक करते वही ये बकबक करते कुछ समझता नहीं यूट्यूब
But it's
पे
in English.
तो क्या यूट्यूब पे लगा
अरे सेम आता है YouTube।
नहीं हाँ वो वाला लगा दो 8 मिनट का अबे तू पागल है क्या कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा अबे क्या तू पागल है नहीं समझ आ रहा फालतू मत हटाओ
First stop your noise, girls. So tell me, either this or that.
that not this that
This one or
अच्छा
that.
that
Why? Because this is 20.
नहीं वो तो अच्छे समझेगा हाँ क्या थोड़ा स्लो कर दो उसका स्पीड हाँ 16 मिनट
पीछे से बैठने को किसने बोला है?
क्या पढ़ा
अरे वो स्पीड
वो spider thing.
कौन देख
देख रहा है, इधर चल रहा है, उधर देख रहा
आपको
है.
कैसे बताऊं मैं पहले
But क्या देखेगा? Connection.
ये
Not realistic at
आगे से कहो
So it is resume
Oh, yeah.
They just said that you read that thing that came.
No.
What was it?
Obviously,
I know.
Hierarchies are different from the
Yes.
students.
Ah.
So this is just for educational purpose. There's no way to. It's only this God.
कर दूंगा चलो बाय